to win the Daytona 500, and sitting on the front row is a great step towards accomplishing that goal. It's great to be a part of history with Danica being on the pole. I think we all know how popular she is, and what this will do for our sport. So, congratulations to her, and proud to be on there with her.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll take questions. I believe Holly Kane had her hand up first, and then we'll go to Ed, and then to Greg.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Jeff, do you come away feeling a bit surprised with that lap, and thinking, man, I could have gotten the pole, or do you come away pleasantly surprised, like, all right, I'll take that? I mean, did you see that coming?
When it's Daytona qualifying, I should never question Alan Gustafson and this team, but I'll be honest, with the way testing went, we were so, and way yesterday went, I didn't feel like we had a shot at the pole. So my expectations were kind of low, but when I started the lap, the car, definitely carried good momentum and RPMs, and so I kind of thought, this is going to be better, certainly better than we were yesterday. I thought the wind was in our favor. The gusts were huge today, and if you got a big gust, it could really affect your lap. I really think that's what happened to Tony. When he came around to the back straightaway, I think he had a pretty big headwind. So yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't expect to be that close, and I told Alan if I'd known we were going to be that close, and I might have drove across the apron or something to try to get what we needed to win the pole. So, but listen, I'm thrilled. This team is thrilled. That was a great accomplishment. Just being on the front row.
Let's go to Ed Hinton. Raise your hand there, Ed. And then we'll go to Greg, Mike Vega, Lee, and Terry, and Nate.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. You just about answered the previous answer, but I'll go ahead and ask anyway. Some of the TV commentators indicated they thought that you might have caught some kind of a puff or a gust of headwind yourself somewhere, or some sort of a gust that maybe left you a little bit short. But you're saying the wind was totally in your favor?
Well, until we go back and look at all the stats, I mean, you can go and we can look at the what I call darkfish. I don't know, the TV calls it ghosts. Imaging, but we'll be able to run our lap and then see exactly what the wind did during that lap and see if it did affect us. But then you'll be a little disappointed when you see it. But hey, that's the luck of the draw. That's that's just kind of the way it goes qualifying here at Daytona and Talladega, that you always understand. So. Like I said, I didn't have high expectations going into it because I just didn't think, based on practice times, we had a shot at the front row. So, I'm sitting here happy regardless of what any of those stats may show.
Let's go to Greg, then we'll go to Mike Vega, and then Lee Spencer.
Greg Engel, Cup, Examiner.com. You've been around the sport a while. Danica's a rookie, but you've seen a lot of history in the sport. Can you rank what this means to our sport, to see the first female ever in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series score a pole, especially at the Daytona 500?
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, as popular as she is too, I mean, she comes into this, with racing background, with a tremendous amount of exposure and momentum and just popularity that we've never seen before, and especially from a female driver. So for her to then follow that up or start the season off with a pole, it's huge. It's big. I mean, I'm surprised you're even talking to me right now, right? There's no I'm glad I didn't win the pole. We'd have messed that story all up. So what I've always been a big believer in. What's good for the sport is good for all of us. So this is great for the sport, and the rest of us will benefit from that as well. So I'm proud to be on the front row this year with side by side with Danica.
Let's go to Mike Vega, Lee Spencer, Terry Blunt.
Jeff, Mike Vega, Boston Globe, kind of following up on that. You kind of jokingly referred to yourself as at least the fastest guy today, but do you allow yourself to step back and just, savor the moment, the historic magnitude of this feat, and allow her to have her moment in the spotlight. She seems to have overshadowed everybody already. But and when you came away yesterday, having seen the way she performed, did you get a sense that she was going to be a strong contender for the pole?
Oh, I didn't think anybody else had a shot. I was surprised we got as close as we did, to be honest with you. They've been fast through testing, fast yesterday, put down a very good lap today. When she made her lap, I was pretty sure that no one was going to beat that. I always think that you really never quite grasp history in the making at the moment. I don't know. Everybody maybe understands it and captures it in different ways. And for me, it's easy to recognize it. Just you're looking at the media surrounding her and the hype that's been built into the Daytona 500, as well as the last day of her being so fast in practice and then all day today. So, to back that up and for her to pull it off, I think is I think we won't really know until you guys write all your stories and we see, what's on the front row or front page or the headlines in the news and on the internet and everything else. So, but I think it's obviously it is a big moment in history and like I said, a great boost for the sport. That's awesome.
Let's go Lee Spencer, Terry Blunt, Nate Ryan.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. A couple of questions. First of all, you mentioned drama earlier this morning. You're talking about going through inspection and...
our car fell off the jack onto the jack stand and completely tore our rocker panel off as we were getting ready to pull the car out of the garage. So when I came in with my kids this morning, just keeping them busy, and my car was the only one in the garage area of all the other cars that were going through inspection. And I went over and Alan was covered in dust and he's like, you don't want to come over here right now. And so we had that to start our day. And so then they got all that fixed and we had to go through inspection. And I don't even know, I didn't even talk to him, but I don't know what kind of issues we had, but I knew the car was very late getting out to pit road.
The other question is, as the years wind down, what's going to be a good year for Jeff Gordon with everything that you've accomplished in this sport? What do you still have left to accomplish?
I've never won a Sprint Cup, and ever since they've gone to this format, I've come close. In 07 came close, and we got beat. So obviously, to me, there's only one thing left, and that's to win the Sprint Cup championship. And what I've realized as I get older that the things that matter to me, I like to make other people proud. People that put a lot of effort into our race team. Or into where my life is, my parents along the way, crew chiefs, like Ray Evernham along the way, my wife, my kids, and so those are the things that motivate me and drive me to want to work harder, do more, and accomplish goals that I haven't been able to accomplish, and so. I think Alan is one of the best, if not the best, crew chief out there right now. And I think he deserves to be a championship caliber crew chief or a recognized crew chief. And, I love taking my kids and my family to Victory Lane and experience the spoils of great accomplishments like that.
Terry Blunt, Nate Ryan, Stan Creekmore. Go ahead, Terry.
Terry Blunt, ESPN.com. Jeff, it's probably likely that Danica is going to be a little nervous come next Sunday at the green flag. I mean, as someone who's started up front and as someone who's done it when you were really young, will you say anything to her about it? Will you, are you okay with, it's, I know you're no gamesmanship or anything, but are you okay with how that could go? And will you talk to her about it at all?
Well, there's a lot of things that are going to happen prior to next Sunday. We've already seen what can happen in 15 laps of the race last night in, testing. So first you have to get through the duels. I think, when, for me, just, knowing we're locked in the front row, I'm not going to be able to breathe until we are, looking at the green flag waving and we're sitting out there, in the front row. The great thing about being on the front row is that you're locked in for the Daytona 500. The downside to that is that you don't want to put your mindset into protection mode of, I don't want to mess this car up because I want this car to be our car for the Daytona 500. If you're going to win the Daytona 500, you got to practice like you're going to win the Daytona 500. You've got to race in the duels like you're going to win the Daytona 500, and you got to do everything to prepare yourself and your team to win the Daytona 500. And sometimes being on the front row, being locked in, can actually be a hindrance to that mindset. So, we're going to put a lot of effort in. I say we, Alan, the team, Rick, and myself are going to put a lot of effort into how we want to approach the duels. And then once we get through the duels, then we'll start thinking about, how to approach the Daytona 500. So if I were to talk to Danica about anything, I'd say the same thing I just said. A lot left to do. And how do you want to approach the duels?
We'll go Nate, Stan, and then we'll end with Dwight.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jeff, wanted to ask you about the man of the hour, which would be Tony Stewart, who's got 3 of the top 5 cars here. He drove really well last night in the race.
Man, I don't even get to be the man of the hour. Shoot. I thought I at least
you said you're the best guy.
I thought I at least had that part accomplished.
I think we'll give you the fastest guy, right?
Okay, yeah, I'll take
right.
that.
But Tony's got 3 of the...
That's not always a good thing.
Steve, Dwight, and Mark.
Whoops.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah, it's okay. What was I going to ask? Tony Stewart, man of the hour. He has 3 of the top 5 cars in qualifying, and he's always great at Daytona. He showed again last night how good he can be in the draft, but yet it seems as almost there's like an Earnhardt-esque quality there. He does everything well here, but he's never won that big race, and this is, I think, his 15th try. Are you expecting him? I mean, do you kind of look at him and wonder, like, man, how is he not winning? Because he kind of talked last night about how he just never seems to make the right moves at the end of the big race here.
Well, just like Earnhardt, give him time. I mean, the greats of motorsports or of this sport, find a way to win those big races, and he's so good on the restrictor plates. And I mean, they certainly, to me, I thought they were shining last night. The 14 team. I thought that he looked to me like he had the car to beat. He went to the inside lane and probably should have stayed in the outside lane. But if odds are more in favor that he's going to make the right moves and be in position to win the Daytona 500 before his career is over, if not, this coming up week. So I look for him to be very, very strong.
Stan, and then we'll go to Dwight, and then end with Mark Long. So we got 3 more.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Jeff, if this wasn't a brand new car, if you could just park on Thursday, would it even be considered to make sure you made it to Sunday? And also, how important is the next practice going to be in everything you do?
I mean, every moment you can get on the track and learn something is important. I don't think you're going to see us getting ourselves into a large pack of cars on Wednesday practice. But Thursday, it's a race, and when you go into a race, you're racing to win, and I think that on Thursday it is, and this is what we have to talk about. It is a very good opportunity to learn what we need to win the Daytona 500, but it's also very risky to put yourself in some of those positions. So, that's why I think you have to go in it, approaching it to learn all that you can and build momentum and confidence, and you do that by winning that race. You're not just sitting on the front row, but you go and win that race. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. But you got to be smart about it too. You get shuffled back and find yourself in a bad situation, and you try to fight through it, and stick your nose in somewhere it probably doesn't belong, and you tear the race car up. Well, then that was just not very smart. So, it's a fine line between those. And honestly, if we didn't have to go out on the racetrack other than practice and just go out there and sit on the front row on Sunday, I'd be fine with that. I really would. Not like any other race. Right. I would be totally fine with that. But that's not the way Daytona works.
2 more questions. Dwight Drum, finish with Mark Long.
Dwight Drum, RaceState.com. You mentioned something about the uncertainty of the Daytona 500 and does starting up front, does that take away any of the worries at all about the uncertainties?
You starting up front in the duels as well as in the Daytona 500 is a great thing. I mean, when you look at how the race unfolded last night, and I think the way that that the drafting, races I think are going to unfold on the restrictor plates. Just in general this year, I think being up front is a premium. I think it always is, but I think possibly even more so this year with this aero package.
Final question, Dan Gelston.
Dan Gelston, AP. Jeff, Janet Guthrie, for one, wrote about the icy reception she received from drivers when she tried to break in the 70s. You were around in the early 90s. What do you think has led to some of the changes in attitude in this garage toward having a female driver, or toward having some of the people welcoming Bubba Wallace, other minority drivers? What's led to this change over the last 20 years toward welcoming different kinds of people into the garage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that question can be answered throughout sports and throughout history in our culture and what's accepted and unexpected over the years. Or not just unexpected, but accepted. And I think that for me, it's not about the color of your skin or your gender. It's about your abilities. So you have to prove that, and I think that Danica is a talented race car driver, and she proved that by getting herself into Indy cars and doing what she did in IndyCar, and she has taken on quite a task to take on stock cars that are completely foreign to her. And you got to admire somebody that's willing to take that leap. And no different than the way I look at Sam Hornish and Juan Pablo Montoya, and any of the guys that have been driving open wheel cars they're most of their career, and then go get in a stock car. It's completely different. But I love people that are not that are willing to take chances and challenge themselves, and that's more the way that I look at Danica, not just accepting a female.